What's the worst thing your parents caught you doing as a kid? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will show you pictures of how your parents conceived you. When we were about 6 years old, me and a friend were having a contest seeing who could pee the furthest out the 3rd story window. Some nosy lady from across the street ratted us out to his parents. I still think I won, but we didn't get a chance to check who peed the furthest. Legend. I think you are both winners. Pee on. Young peers. Pee on. I wrote it on my notebook in 1st grade with one of those giant training pencils. Forgot the T of course. Bitch is Latin for generosity. It's easy, MK. I wrote ass on a handwriting worksheet and tried to convince my parents my teacher wrote it. I was 6 and my logic was that I wouldn't have to do the work. My name is Zachary, nickname Zach. One time my sister, 4 at the time maybe, tried to write Zach, but wrote ass. Peeing into the air vents on the floor. Oh my god. I did this. To this day, I had no idea what led me there. I'm not alone anymore. Are you a cat? Chaotic evil. My mum got 5-year-old me one of those giant novelty suckers that came with a pretty sturdy wooden handle. I decided to test the strength of the stick by pushing it against my bedroom wall as hard as possible. Such a strong stick. Dad walked in just as I poked a 6-inch hole in the drywall. My little sister had fallen asleep with her sucker the day before and got the whole thing stuck in her hair. No more giant suckers. Mopping. Painting the garage floor with oil and destroying a waterbed with steak knives. My brother and I were both under the age of 5 when these things happened. He's older than me by about 1.5 years and made other horrendous messes before I could start participating in them, including opening all the Kool-Aid packets onto the kitchen floor and emptying an entire can of Crisco onto the bottom few steps in the house. He was bad. Our younger brother is 6 years younger than me and was way worse in the mess department. He threw all my bottles of nail polish all over my room and destroyed most of my stuff so I wasn't allowed to have any more. He cut up most of our pictures from when we were kids. Remember when you could refill your own ink cartridges at home with a kit? He sprayed a whole pack of that stuff all over the living room, including the ceiling. Ruined the carpet completely. When my sister was 3, she was caught hiding behind a trash can eating butter after we specifically told her not to. Specifically as in you mentioned she couldn't do it behind the trash can? No, we told her she can't just eat plain butter. So, she hid behind a trash can so she wouldn't be caught. When I was about 6, I was watching an episode of Pokemon. I had to pee, but didn't want to miss anything, so I peed in a trash can. I thought that was super clever at the time, but as soon as my mum got home she could smell it, and 21 years later she still remembers. You at least used a trash can. My idiot self thought pads were diapers, and obviously I thought now I can go about my day. As pee descended on it and then obviously overflowed. Because the pad was soaked and I ran towards the bathroom trying to make sure I don't make a mess. I made a mess, running to the toilet while peeing. Did I mention I was? Sorry, I'm an idiot. And that, friends, is how I found out about periods and what the pads are actually used for. Dude, when I was a kid I was terrified to go pee in the middle of the night. I would just piss under my bed. When my mum found that, she was not happy at all. Mum found the piss drawer. Not me, but they caught my 3-year-old sister eating chips in a small dark closet at 3 AM. Did I mention she was also naked? We've all been there. Yeah. Certainly sounds familiar. Quietly puts on shirt. Kids at 3 aren't very bright. She was living my dream, so she must have been doing something right. My best friend's mum caught us spanking each other's bare asses. That was fun. Grammar. What age though? Like 5, 6. Gender? If you're comfortable with answering that, of course. At age 5 I used my dad's shaver on my lips without shaving cream. Don't ask why. I did the same to my chin at around that age. Was supposed to be cleaning. Found my cousin's razor and figured I'd shave. I bought a VHS video camera. Saved up money for so long to buy it from a dirty wee second-hand shop. I came home one day to find my mum had been, and still was, recording episodes of daytime TV over my hours and hours and hours of masturbatory action. No words spoken. Ever. You record herself jerking off? Just curious as to why. I did. A lot. This was the early 90s. I did lots of other cool things with my camera, of course, but privately, sheesh, I was out of control. Parents would always catch my little sister sucking on Velcro straps on shoes in the closet. Don't you hate when that happens? Told my mum I was going into the woods to build a fort. I went into the woods, but brought my Game Boy, which I was grounded from, and a supply of batteries. Played Pokemon out there for several hours next to a tree until my mum came out into the woods and found me. Big trouble for me. How old were you? That could have actually been smart if you had just came in after a couple hours. 45. When I was 4, my parents were trying to potty train me and they made me go around the house naked from the waist down, so I had to use the toilet. I hid on the floor, hid it under the couch when my parents walked in, and blamed it on the cats. We didn't even have cats. So you made an imaginary point. Trying to see if my peanuts was long enough that I could suck it. I understand. I did this as well. I found out I'm able to. Well, does it feel like you're getting it sucked or that you're sucking one? I've heard it feels more like you're sucking than being sucked. So it feels more gay than good. Not me, but my best friend growing up. We found some Pinot mags in a field behind his house that he took home. When he would take a shower, he would cut out images of the girls, stick them to the inside of the shower and do the deed, then flush the pic. Eventually he had a Pinot mag consisting of all men, with the women all cut out. Needless to say, his dad found them and thought he was gay for a few years before talking with him about it. Oh my god, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. This is hilarious. For some reason, I was expecting the women to get stuck in the pipe, and his dad had to get them out. I was like, damn, that's a sturdy magazine. I am still incredulous about the sheer, vast amount of Pinot mags that declared random fields and woods their home. If I hadn't actually witnessed this phenomenon as a child myself, I would not believe it. I'm just old enough to have caught the very tail end of this. But yeah, every once in a while you just find peen in the woods or by the side of some random field. I didn't get it either until someone explained to me that people would buy these magazines, but they couldn't, or wouldn't, take them home for whatever reason, so they stashed or dumped them in the woods. One time my mother walked in on my girlfriend and I having sex to tell me that my father cut his finger off and that they were going to hospital. There was a lot to unpack in that moment. You could fill a TV miniseries with this comment. I've been there. Full on naked. It was dark and neither me nor my girlfriend at the time knew if her father's eyes had fully adjusted from being in the downstairs living room when her door opened. I fear froze. He asked what time she was planning on leaving the next morning. My girlfriend answered calmly and then he closed the door. Still 100% sure he saw and pretended it never happened. I'm female. When I was 4, my mum caught me trying to sit backwards on the toilet. When I was 37, she walked in my room and found me passed out mid-masturbation with peen playing. She turned off the peen. Thanks, mom. Every time when I'm almost passed out after doing it, I hear a giant, loud noise coming from nowhere. It alarms me to get up and clean myself in the most extreme fashion. At this point I'm convinced it is my brain who makes up the noise, because he knows he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't. That's actually called exploding head syndrome. I never knew this was a thing. I always have dreams that I'm just chilling in class, and then there is a huge explosion and I wake up. You might be right, except that it only happens to me during those situations. I have a seriously distinct memory of this, despite being so young, so bear with me. I'd say I was around maybe 3-4 years old. Someone left a turd in the toilet and I remember thinking it looked distinctly pickle shaped, so in my young child mind I thought, hey, a pickle, and went to grab it out of the toilet. I realized it wasn't a pickle when it squished between my fingers and my mum saw the excrement on my hands. She never brought it up to me when I was older however. Even at 3-4 years old, why the frick did you think it was a good idea to pick something up out of the toilet? Also, and what color was it anyway? Wasn't a bright kid, to be honest, and it was green lol. I used to sleep on the toilet when I was 6 cause my mum forced me out of bed in the morning. Once she caught me and put a towel behind my head then took a picture. When I was 16, my mum told me to stop searching peen on her computer. I said okay and apologized. Then my dad, who overheard, came in after her and said thank you. That bastard. I don't know why, but as a kid I would put my hand in my pants because it felt warm in there, not for any other reason. It happened unintentionally sometimes. One morning I woke up to my parents looking at me concerned. I was confused until I looked down. As you can guess, my hand was in my pants, and I immediately took them out. My parents were crying laughing, but I was so embarrassed. That night my mum gave me the talk. I do that too. When I'm going to sleep, just instinctively. I've woken up panicked because my hand was in my pants for no reason. So I'm not the only one. I'm 21 and still do this. I don't know why. It's just comfortable. Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will show you pictures of how your parents conceived you.